So I'm John Roberts with Canvas, and we're having a conversation today with Shayfer James, singer-songwriter. And we're here to talk about the March of Crows event, but before we get into that, I want to discuss a little bit about your background and your roots. So tell me about where you were born and raised.
I was born in New Jersey. I was born in Mountainside, New Jersey, and raised in that general area, central New Jersey. Jumped around from town to town a little bit, but I started writing music when I was like 17, 18. And sort of just, I was doing, do other things with my life and, doing that standard stuff where you're trying to figure out what you like when you're a kid.
Right.
And that was it when I wrote the first song. So that was it. I wrote for a girl. I wanted to impress her. And that was it. I realized how much I loved it,
Pretty popular motivation.
Yeah, right. So yeah, from there I just I worked with bands, and I blew out my voice during a recording session, got chronic laryngitis. And so I sort of had to reevaluate how I was writing, how I was composing, how I was singing.
Wow.
And then when that happened, I started writing the music that was, the foundation of what I write now.
It's one of those blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was terrifying. They did the thing where, put the tube down your throat, and luckily, no, I didn't have any polyps, but it was, I would play a 45-minute set and I wouldn't be able to speak. I'd have to take really good care for about a week, and so.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it started, and it just sort of opened up a world of writing and singing for me that wasn't, before that hadn't really been, or I didn't think I had access to.
Right. So what inspired the interdisciplinary project, and why did you choose street art as your muse as opposed to some other forms of art?
I started it last year, the second time I'm doing it, and it was based on paintings and photographs.
Sure.
And it was for very personal reasons. I just moved to the city and I sort of needed a way to connect, and I'm not necessarily very good at that without art as a transmitter.
Yeah.
So I reached out, and it was the event last year was a huge success. But I felt like now I wanted to use street art as a way to relate better to the city, and to actually walk around, and go also up to areas of the city that I really don't spend any time, so just get into different neighborhoods and look at the art, and then start to understand, when you look at art and you look at where it is happening and where these artists chose to paint these murals, you start to do a little research on the history of these spots, and it's fascinating.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you learn a lot.
So you not only used this project as a means to expand socially, but also just to get closer to the geography and the history of the city.
Yeah.
Nice.
One of the murals is it's based on the Peachtree War, which was this Dutch settlers. There was a Native American woman climbed in a tree and took a peach, and she was shot and killed by a white landowner. And the Dutch settlers were away battling, and so the Native Americans looked at the opportunity to strike, and there was a war based around this woman being shot.
Cool. So let's talk about this piece in particular, and sort of what it represents to you, and sort of what about it resonates with you.
Yeah, the piece is by Blair Urban. I'm not actually sure what she calls it, but the first thing I latched onto was that the figures have 4 eyes each, and for whatever reason, I thought of this idea of double vision on a quantum level.
Yeah.
So it's sort of experiencing time from 2 different places at once.
Sure.
And how that often is true about when you're heartbroken, and then she's got this her hand over our heart here.
Yeah.
And when you're heartbroken, when love dies, you tend to be existing in 2 different spots, the after and the before.
Right.
So I sort of ran with that. And then she's got the hand with the middle finger up. And what was fun for me was how do I say giving someone the middle finger poetically, in a way that's different than I've heard it.
Right.
So I thought it was funny to say 1/5 of a fist as a gift.
That's a great line.
Right? So it's 1/5 of a fist as a gift to a ghost in the dark.
And lastly, with the project as a whole, what do you ultimately want to achieve with the March of Crows? What is the end goal?
I mean, for me, it's passion, it's connection, collaboration with people that otherwise I wouldn't have any access to. I would be really interested in taking it as a sort of case study to other cities. That's something I've thought about, is saying like how can
huge.
how can you go to another city and implant yourself and do this in a community, because I knew people here when I moved here, right? But I wasn't I didn't have very close friends here. So it was sort of like dropped into the community and then just started doing this stuff.
Right.
And how that's connected to me, the community, has been amazing. And I wonder if that would be the same experience in other cities. And if you could help other people in their process by doing that, by just giving a platform for people to connect,
That's a beautiful thing. I certainly hope that that is the course that it takes, man. So where can we find you? And what are you planning to do for the future?
Well, the event's March 10th at Grace Church here. It's free. Shayferjames.com is the site. Just wrapped writing a musical, so it's about the rise and fall of empires and the repeated mistakes of our species. So light reading.
Yeah, right.
one of those song and dance musicals,
Yeah,
clearly.
sure. Nothing too dense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So just finished writing that, and that's in development now. So, and just doing my my usual writing. So always creating, always moving.
Definitely.
Challenging.
Nice. Well, I'm happy to hear that you're doing your thing. You're pushing yourself. You're learning in the process, and you're connecting with other artists. It's a great thing, and I hope that the spirit of this project, reaches far and wide. Man.
Thank you.